All right, so we still have a few people that let us know that they're going to be a few minutes late just because they're finishing up on other projects, but we're going to have it recorded. And they said they'll get their questions ready when they come. So the way it's going to work is whoever has any questions, you can ask, like, oh, I have a question. You can put it in the chat. And then they're going to be like, yes, so-and-so, what's your question? And well, first of all, everyone is going to introduce themselves to people that are going to be answering our questions. So we know, sorry, I'm a little slappy because the thing messed me up. So the way it's going to work is each person, I have a list here, but if you're not on the list and you still think that you have something that you think would be interesting to contribute to, some knowledge, like work in the industry or school that you learned that you thought, maybe I have something I could share, just let me know. But basically the way it is I'm going to name people and they're going to go and introduce themselves. Hi, my name is so-and-so. My expertise is in this, and that. This is what I've done, like projects, stuff like that. And this is what I have up and coming, in the works or in the future or whatever that I have planned that we have, in production or whatever like that. And when people have questions, the people who of that list who think, oh, I think I can answer that, or, oh, I think I have a good answer for that, can say it in the chat. And I'll say, okay, now this person will answer your question, and that, because that way we don't have people speaking over each other. Does that sound okay for you guys?
Can I just raise my hand?
Oh, yeah. You can do the raising hand motion as well. Like, I'll keep an eye on the chat. I'm just saying, like, you can also do the raising hand motion, or you can do in the chat, because the raising hand motion sometimes goes away.
Like at the bottom, there's the reactions, and if you click on that, there's a raise hand right at the bottom of
Whatever's easier for you.
Easiest
if you
way
want to
to
raise
do
your
it,
hand.
to see the who wants to have it.
I'm just going to, if that's okay.
No. Raise your hand with the app, not your actual.
That's a pain.
It's too hard to pay attention to everyone doing this.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, it's just because when you press the little emoji, your screen automatically comes to the forefront. And so then I'll know, oh, okay, this person wants to talk,
Okay.
That, and see the
Yeah,
little
like
hand
that.
emoji right there. And then I can just go click it in lower hand and it goes away.
Well, I have this. I don't have that.
Oh, well, I'll keep an eye on that then. It's just to make it easier. That way one's not talking over the other. If you feel like, oh, I can't do it. Hey, sorry, it's not working for me. Can I chime in? Just let me know. You can talk. But this is just to try to make it a little bit smoother. Is that okay? Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
Objections?
I'm concerned about what Lorena is drinking.
Oh, it's much. We've been trying to get her to quit for weeks. She's not budging.
What is it?
Oh, well,
She's a matcha addiction.
Yeah, kind of. I got so much matcha for Christmas, so that's why I'm like this again. So.
Oh, so your family's enabling you. All right.
Yeah.
Man, nothing wrong with that. It could be worse. Could be alcohol.
That is very true. It could be many other things.
If it's not matcha,
It's tea. But okay, does anyone have any questions they would like to start with? We have a few, but we're just going to interject them in between. We want everyone else to participate.
Well, first, introductions.
Oh, right, the introductions. Sorry, guys, forgive me. I'm so much better every other day. Today, for some reason, my brain's mush. All right, let's start with the introductions then. Well, we have Martin White. He took the hardest time to get here. He can start.
I knew you were going to start with me. Why does everything always start with me, except when it starts with?
I'm sorry. I was going to do it in alphabetical,
but if I have to wait in line, in line for something, they start at A. But on something like this, they start backwards. I swear.
I know. I'm sorry.
I'm a production sound mixer, and which is a goofy term because you think a sound mixer sitting in a studio somewhere behind a computer, but it used to be called location sound recordist, and somewhere along the line it got changed. Somebody liked it better be called sound mixer, but it's location sound recordist is what I do. And what else am I supposed to say?
Oh, just like any upcoming projects you have in the works or anything you've worked on in the past, like, oh, I've done this, I'm working on that. Just so
I,
people can get an idea of what your expertise is, what you have done, what you
oh
will
yeah,
do.
that part. Yeah, so oh, can you still hear me? I pushed a button. Everybody there?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. I do a bunch of scripted stuff. I do some reality, some documentary. You can look me up on IMDb if you want, and then ask questions for particular shows.
Who is making all that noise? Goodness gracious.
I blame Sarah.
What?
Sarah? Honey, are you the noisy one in the group?
What am I making noise with?
I don't know.
Paper
I'm
or
just
something.
hearing some really
I just hear
muffled.
papers and I see you moving papers.
Yeah, that's probably me. Yeah, it's guilty. I'll pull it mute off.
Can you mute it just so we can hear him a little
Sarah,
bit? Is that okay?
Does
Thanks.
Sarah have her camera in the toilet? Because it looks like a toilet.
Oh, we don't judge. Hey.
That looks like
Hey,
a
that's just
toilet
that's just
POV.
toilet
It's
humor.
like the phone is in the toilet looking up. Okay, so anyway,
Someone we heard them flying while they're on the video
oh,
chat.
you're cutting
Try
out.
not to guess what it
You're
was.
cutting out a lot.
Of course, stupid internet. I said we heard someone flushing the other day in the video
that's
chat as well. So we were trying not to
That's awesome.
guess who it was.
Yeah, you can continue.
Yeah. So anyway, let me turn my notifications thing off. I'm not used to doing this. Let's see, notifications. Can everybody still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so it just means I own a bunch of sound equipment and I know how to use it. And does anybody have? Are we going to do questions after everybody goes? Is that how we're going to do this?
Yeah, we're gonna get everyone to introduce themselves first.
Yeah, you can look me up on IMDb. I don't know. Does anybody know who David Henry is? Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was the second unit. He's the nicest guy ever. I was the second unit sound mixer on his directorial debut, which is called "This Is the Year."
Oh, cool. I heard about that.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. And
I've seen
so
behind the scenes on that.
You what?
I've seen behind the scenes on that.
Oh, I thought you said you were in. I was like,
No.
really? Were you were Frozen too? Yeah, we shot a spring. We shot a movie that was set in spring in 30-degree weather. It was tough, but it was a fun shoot. Anyway, so I do a bunch of scripted stuff, and I also do probably the show that I get the most questions about is My 600-Pound Life.
Is that reality?
Yeah, it's a reality.
Yeah,
show.
switching from scripted to reality, and then Mysteries at the Museum, and a bunch of the murder shows, a whole bunch of the murder shows. But okay, that's it for me.
Oh, cool.
All right, cool. Will Ward, because he will be on a tight schedule as well, so I'll try to.
I don't know if Will's there right now.
Oh, yeah,
We'll see.
I'm here. I'm
Okay.
just moving my trying to get my camera and stuff right. But here, I am a graduate of Regent University with my master's degree in television and film producing. I have worked for a couple of different production companies. As a PA back in a couple of years ago, I worked for ABC Network for a reality show called The Great Christmas Lights, and I worked on a couple of feature films for Ren as well. Currently, I'm producing my own feature film with my production company, Very Visionary, with a couple of friends. So yeah, that's basically what I'm doing, but my experience is mostly in producing.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Daniel, you want to go ahead?
Sure.
This is so completely out of order in alphabetical order. I just started writing down.
I was going
people's
to
names.
say. Daniel Dunn over here. My experience in film is I graduated film school years ago. I've done on my own. I've done nine short films. Someone's phone's going off.
Martin.
Yeah,
9
hang
short
on,
films, 3 music videos, and
There. Okay, now I got it muted, I think.
yeah, 3 music videos, and I've done 1 commercial. And right now I am basically directing a short in a couple weeks. We're just in post-production right now. Pre-production, brain not working. And basically, and I'm also just like, I run my own production called Slated Media. You can also check out my name on IMDb, and you can check out my page on Facebook or slated.ca.
Awesome.
So that's a little bit about me. So
Thanks, Daniel. He's one of our regulars. Oh, what? You're in every one of these. Okay. Franco Giuliani, did he come today?
No, I haven't seen him come in. He was the one from Facebook, so I don't know if he's coming in or not.
Okay. Mike, do you want to go?
So I own a company in Charlottesville, Virginia. We film weddings and promotional videos. I've produced a documentary about an organization in Peru that does humanitarian work. And then I'm working on a documentary about how COVID has affected nonprofits in Virginia right now.
Cool.
That's
Awesome.
cool. Yeah, when you're done, can you send it to us? I think that'd be really cool to watch.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah. All right. We have Brian Booker. Is he here?
Nope.
Oh, Brian, dang it, he didn't text me back. All
I
right.
guess he's booked up for tonight.
Everyone's coming a little late tonight. Lorena? Sorry, I try to say it Lorena. It's my
Okay.
the
Hello.
accent only comes out.
Hey guys, my name is Lorena. Also go by Lori, like the truck. Yes, I always have to mention that for some reason. I graduated from film school in 2019, I think. I'm still kind of fresh. I've directed so far music videos, shorts. I'm also a funeral live stream tech person, so I don't think I told anybody else about that. I do live streaming at my church for funerals. Yeah.
That's
really
interesting. I never heard about that.
That's a dead serious job.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
And currently in the works, actually, just starting, I think last night, my partner and I are planning out a music video for a song from a band that he goes to work with, kind of. That's me. Okay, bye.
Lori, just one quick question for you. Have you heard of 41st and Home?
Sorry?
They're 41st and Home. They're a Vancouver band.
I have not.
Oh, check them out. They're a buddy of mine. I went to high school with.
Cool.
You want to
check
talk
them out.
about some stuff you worked with, huh? Because I know you wrote a script for a music video, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wrote a script this summer and I sold it to a local artist and a production team, and they made a music video for it, and that was really cool. I've done PA stuff. Yeah, I don't know why I'm so nervous right now.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
That's all right.
And
I just
you
know
didn't
you're
ask-
way too modest for your own good sometimes.
Oh.
You didn't ask me, but I actually sold a script to DreamWorks.
Oh, you didn't say anything.
I did. I've said like 3 times now.
No, I know, but I mean, like.
Yeah,
you
I
didn't
totally forgot about it until you mentioned that.
Yeah, it's just because Lorena barely said anything, and I was like, come on, you've done more than that. So I just wanted to prop her up a little bit, poor thing. But yeah, Daniel sold a script to DreamWorks. It was a fan script, right? You said?
It was originally a fan that turned into a real script for a movie you've all heard about, and I'll say after the recording.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Is Isaac Maltz here yet, or no?
No, he's not in.
Should I text him? Because he said he was coming in.
Yeah, I don't know. He was coming to
Eager
go up,
for
I
it,
guess.
yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, well, I guess we can start. Does anyone have any questions, or should we start with ours? What do you guys want to do? Oh, Brad, you're new. It's your first time here. You want to say anything?
Hey, yeah. Well, as far as an intro, I don't have a lot to say as far as like experience goes. I just started getting into like film and this kind of stuff like a month ago. But the reason is because I have written before. I wrote a self-published book about 2 years ago. So I really enjoy
Cool.
writing, but ironically, I don't really like books or reading books. So I figured, oh, maybe I can translate this into film. And I started like messing around with. I'm kind of technical. My day job's web programming, that kind of stuff. So I like that aspect of it. So I'm like, oh, maybe I can, bring these together and see where it goes. But long story short, live in Tawano, Virginia, which is by Williamsburg, like 10 minutes from Williamsburg, Virginia. And love it here. It's going good. And yeah, just eager to meet people, get involved, volunteer, help out, and do all this stuff.
Yeah,
cool, awesome. I know I've been trying to get the schedule right for a while, so it's great to have you here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions you wanted to ask? I know you said like in the chat you had 2, I think.
I got two right here, but so I guess for me, like I just started like going down rabbit hole with like equipment, and of course you can go down the YouTube rabbit hole where you should buy all this kind of stuff. I ended up getting like a used Sony A6000, playing around with that. But I guess my initial question would be like, what's the best bang for your buck as far as like the extra stuff, like lighting? I got a Zoom H1, but as far as like where to go beyond the couple $100 investment, like should you sort of keep going down the list? It seems like lighting, at least for me, I started doing like a YouTube video with my son, messing around with stuff, and it seems like the hardest thing for me has been the lighting and getting light. Like I watched a lot of videos. I'm like, oh, this doesn't look too bad. And I started doing it. I'm like, man, this looks horrible.
If you need help with that, I can help you with that. I have a lighting kit myself.
Cool.
So I can help with that type of thing if you need it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I bought some newer, I think called newer lights.
Okay.
I got 2 of those, but I've just been playing around with those. But
lighting is rough.
Lighting's the easiest, I find.
I don't know. We tried when we were doing the video. It was so hard putting them into place and getting it just right and not getting the shadow on the face.
Or turning Dakota into a strawberry.
All right. Anyone else? Anyone have?
Did anybody have an answer to that? Like he was asking, like what kind of equipment for a beginner you would have? Any tips?
LED lights would. LED lights. If you don't want to spend a fortune, I would say get some LED lights with barn door.
Okay.
Because barn doors.
Mine don't have barn door.
Because all the lights I have is barn doors, because it just makes it so you can cut out the light a lot more instead of just like having it blasting on you.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the LED lights are just one single piece, and it just like overflares everything, I find.
Yeah, I think you can actually see what I got right there. It's like a panel light kind of thing.
Okay, I have. Yeah.
What I tried to do was I tried to do like the cove lighting, where you do like you shine it away from you on like a bed sheet pretty much, and it kind of diffuses light or whatever. And it seemed to work out pretty good. It was just hard to set up with the equipment I got.
Do you just have the one, or?
No, I got 2. I got 2 of those.
Okay. You should get a third light. It would really help.
Okay.
Yeah, do you want the lighting to have like a backlight for the head?
Yeah.
Then there's the key light for the main light, and then there's a side light for the
3-point lighting system.
Okay. Nice. I'll check that out.
I can try to find some specific videos if you'd like. I remember we were watching some on that in the beginning, and I can send them to you if you'd like.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll save that. Anyone else have any tips on lighting they could give?
Diffusion. Okay.
Someone asked me a question.
Sorry?
Use a reflector under the chin. Well, no, like with shooting faces, if you need to add a little bit of light coming up from the bottom, you use one of them reflector things just underneath. So if you've got the camera and you're just doing a headshot, underneath where you can see the camera, you can reflect the light back up to go with the 3-point lighting. Or if you only have one light set up and you need to have it bounce off of it.
And reflectors are a good thing to source out light too.
Mike, you worked a lot of situations where you probably had to work the lighting a little bit, right?
Yeah, I just find making sure it's really diffused. Sometimes it looks like it's diffused, and then you shine it on the subject and it really doesn't look great. You just want it to be really, really soft in most situations. I found that I tend to err on that side. Because if it's too harsh and then you look at it in post and you're like, oh, that looks pretty bad.
And get yourself a light meter as well. Those really
What's
help.
a light meter? I haven't heard of that.
Just light meters, so you can basically keep track of the temperature of light. Like, it's better to look it up. It's almost.
I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, it's a scanner for basically lights, just so you can tell the temperature, like what temperature you want for each light. You could probably explain it a lot better than I can, Mike.
Do you have anything you'd want to add to that?
You have a question, Martin?
Do I have a
Yeah.
question? No,
Light
I think I agree
meters.
with everything that's been said.
Wait a minute. Sorry, Mike. What? You were finishing up a thought?
Oh, I was just saying I agree with everything that's been said. I think it's a lot of good information.
Oh, okay.
And Martin, you have your hand raised. Did you have anything you wanted to ask?
Yeah, let me figure out how to put it down. How to put my hand down. Okay, there we go. Whatever that means.
Hey, James is here. Yo, James, how you doing?
Hi, James.
Hello.
Light meters. I never know what to say to people on things, but light meters indicate how much light is there. Color meters tell you what color the light is. Light meters are $600-700 a piece. I don't know if I would.
No, you can get them a lot cheaper. I bought mine for like $50.
Okay. All right. I love that. I'm going to look that up. And then color meters are about $2,000. And that tells you what color everything is. I've never seen a $50 light meter.
I found it on Amazon.
Okay, cool. All right. But yeah, the big brand of light meters and color meters is Sekonic, Sekonic. So in case you just need to compare something, I'll shut up now.
Okay.
No, that makes sense.
I
So
think
if
it's
you-
always good to check. Oh, sorry, Sarah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, because I'm thinking about light meters and stuff like that. For small, like tiny shoots, you're probably not gonna use that. But I'm guessing on big sets, on big productions, or even indie stuff, or smaller. Depends what it is. You're gonna have the lighting guy's probably gonna have all that gear himself with his assistant. I don't know. Do the lighting guys even have? I think they do sometimes. Depends on how big.
I feel like at the end of the day, with everything, research is key. Like, don't buy something just because someone says this is good or someone says this is
definitely
cheap. Research is key. Like, sometimes you find something that's cheaper, but they're not necessarily the best quality. Or sometimes you find something that's cheaper than the regular, like, $5,000 thing, and it works just as well. So I feel like but the thing is, you can get lost in the research. You really can, which is why it's good to have people who know what they're talking about. Will, do you have anything to add on that? Like, you've worked in a few sets and stuff. Do you have any lighting tips?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I agree with what everybody else has said. They kind of beat me to the punch, but I also was just gonna add that investing in some lighting gels too would definitely help. They helped me a lot on some of my short films, like to get the tone that I'm looking for, daytime when it's nighttime outside, stuff like that, and they're not that expensive. So
okay, cool.
Where would it be a good place to find one, do you think?
You can get them on Amazon. Some people sell them on Craigslist. I got a couple of lighting gels from there and some lighting gear from Craigslist too. So you can get some good deals. But yeah, Amazon basically, yeah.
So everyone agrees on the 3 main light rule pretty much?
Yep.
And LED is the cheapest option?
If you go LED, there's some that are not too hot, and you can use cheaper diffusers, really.
Lania said lighting gel, you said? Someone say lighting gel?
Yeah, lighting gels.
gels.
Yeah.
Diffuser.
Like different colors that you can put on them too. Like
let's see if I can find mine right now. Well, like these are like some of my mini lights I have.
Oh, are those the colored ones that they put like underneath things or behind things?
Yeah, that's gel.
Cool.
Like these are some of my mini lights that I use. I have bigger ones, but I use these ones just for if I'm just doing a like long distance shoot and I don't want to bring heavy stuff.
And where'd you find that one?
Amazon. Everything
Okay,
you
cool.
find, you could buy everything on Amazon.
Maybe you can send some of the links on the WhatsApp group. I think that would help a lot of people.
I sent 2 links to the light meters I was talking about in the chat.
I'll copy and paste them on WhatsApp. Anyone else have any other questions they want to ask? You can write it in the chat or you can raise your hand. That way it'll make it a little easier. Or put any emoji. Put any emoji in front, whatever's easiest for you.
I need a haircut.
Martin, you have another one?
Back on the gel comment, that's how, like if you see daylight coming in a window and it's daylight colored, and then you have to have a lamp in your shot, you can take gel and wrap it around a light bulb and turn your lamp into whatever color you want it to. And that's how that's done. That way you don't have, or if you want the light bulb to be a different color, or And of course, there's big gels that people put over the outside of windows. Like if you need to change the entire light coming in to match tungsten, you can put up tungsten gels on all the exterior windows, which is a big, huge. I'm talking about big projects, but I'm just giving you guys something to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fred, are you on WhatsApp, or would you need me to send a direct message to you?
I'm on WhatsApp. Yeah.
Okay, I sent the 2 links that Daniel put on the chat on there.
Okay.
It's Canadian Amazon, but it works.
Yeah, I'm sure we can find most of the stuff in the US still. Okay, anyone else have any other questions?
I actually have a question for Martin or anyone else who knows about location sound. Is what kind of mic would you recommend using in different situations, like a lav mic, a boom mic, and why?
Depends on the situation.
Right, like if you want it to be more close and personal, it does depend
Daniel, follow
on
the rules.
mic, or does
Hands
it
up.
depend on the area the mic needs to be in?
Follow the rules, my guy.
I will. So yeah, basically, if you're doing
Did you raise your hand?
You're doing a nice and wide. Well, sorry.
There you go. I saw the hand now. Like, wait till I say, okay, Daniel. Dang it.
I
He asked Martin first.
Okay from Lakota, so.
Yeah, but he said Martin first. You listen, boy.
Okay, so who asked the question? I'm confused.
I did.
Daniel, don't take it personally, okay?
Who's I?
Lakota.
Oh, okay. You asked that question. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So, well, I talked to a friend of mine about 2 months ago who's a boom operator. He's a union boom operator, and he was on a big movie with an actor in it that every single one of you would know who it is. And they were doing nothing because of coronavirus. They were doing nothing but booming. They didn't have any labs on set.
Mm-hmm.
How's that? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And so what happens is nobody puts their head, taking spouses out of this conversation, nobody puts their head on your chest to listen to what you have to say. Labs are in a very unnatural position.
Mm-hmm.
The boom mics, and this is all comparing the same quality of stuff, at the same quality level, not the world's cheapest lab versus the world's most expensive boom mic or the other way around. But boom mics just sound natural because, and you can look this up, proximity effect. They're far enough away to not have proximity effect. And proximity effect is if you go to the corner of your wall of your house and start singing, you'll hear it sounds more bassy when you get closer, and that's proximity effect. But anyway, it just depends on what you're doing, what your budget is, and how much time you have, and if you trust the people not to run off with your equipment that you stick a lav on, which is really important.
Okay, thank you. And
Daniel, just bring heavy equipment. That way it'll make it harder for them to run off with it.
Heavy equipment.
Go ahead, Daniel.
So I told it, I do agree. Like, they don't use lav mics because of sanitary situations now.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they put lavs on everyone, there's basically all the germs is going to go on each person.
Right.
They can't just change the head on it every time.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, for me, it's like, if I do a nice wide shot, I'll basically do lavs. If I basically do a nice, I'm not a big fan of boom because everyone always knocks the boom somehow.
They do what?
Knocks the boom, like knocks it on a table or knocks it on something, or they scratch it by mistake. I've had that several times in my sets. All of a sudden I hear scratching on the boom pole and I'm like, what is that sound?
Right.
But the thing is, like, boom is good, like good to have for different types of shots. Like, basically, if you want a nice wide shot from far, then you would use lavs. But if you want basically a nice close-up shot, I would say just use the boom pole.
Okay.
Honey, you had another question about sound, I believe. You want to, since we got Martin's attention, you want to ask him as well?
That was the question about sound I had.
Oh, that was the one? I thought you had like which ones to use for which situations and sound.
I just asked that.
Oh, okay, I thought you meant more specifically like when shooting this scene or shooting that scene. Because when we were talking to him yesterday, he said something about how every scenes should sound differently, and I thought that was really interesting to explore.
Well, is it my turn to talk?
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm gonna put my hand down now. Well, do I put my hand down after I stop talking, or while I'm talking, or how do I do that?
You can put your hand down after you start talking.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so the scratching on the boom pole that Daniel, right?
Yeah, Daniel's
Yep.
talking.
Who's not there right now? Where'd he go?
I'm just looking for places for haircuts because I'm realizing my hair.
I can cut your hair. I'll cut your hair. So anyway, the scratching you hear on the boom pole, most time, this is a budget thing, is usually external wires. Somebody has a boom pole with a cable on the outside. And is that what you're talking about, Daniel?
No, I talk about people that have fiddle fingers.
Like actually drop it.
Like,
The
no,
boom
they
operator.
actually are scratching on the side of it because they're just getting annoyed at how long they're holding it for. I've had
Oh,
that
God.
several times on my sets.
This is more fun than I thought it would be. All right, so, yeah, well, okay, so, all right, I don't know how to respond to that. I don't know how to respond to the heroin addict who's in withdrawal holding the boom pole, but, yeah, but cables on the outside of boom poles are a big problem. I don't even have a cable on the inside of a boom pole. I have a wireless boom. So, but, which is not, you know, it's expensive. And so,
Yep.
Once I switched over to wireless boom pole, and the first show I ever did on that was Killer Instinct with Chris Hansen, if anybody knows that
Nice.
show.
Oh yeah.
I know that show.
Okay, cool. That was the first show I ever did. Chris Hansen show was with the wireless boom, and I thought, oh my God, this is like the invention of toilet paper. So,
Did
yeah,
you
I'm not
say
sure.
you worked on Night in the Museum? Quick question.
What?
I thought I heard someone say they worked on Night in the Museum.
I don't understand. Worked on what?
Night of the Museum.
Oh no, Mysteries at the Museum.
Oh, okay. I
yeah,
worked
you know,
on
that
Night
show.
in the Museum, so I'm like, did I work with you?
Oh, that's funny. No, sorry. Okay, I'll shut up now.
Oh, that's all you had, Dad? Okay. Will Ward, he said he agrees with that statement. That has happened on set with a boom. You want to tell the story? Is it funny enough to tell, or just happening?
It's basically kind of like what was said, where I was kind of wondering if my boom guy was on drugs, because like we were at the 48-hour screening and all you can hear is like his scratching from the boom pole, and I was like, come on, man. So it's pretty I mean, I'm a big boom guy myself, so I'm a big fan of the boom, but like when I heard that story about the scratching, that's what immediately popped into my head, and I'm like, you know what, he is absolutely right. So yeah.
Lania
It just
has a
depends on
question.
like how large the production is or how professional the people are holding it.
Yeah, pretty much.
That happened on Night Museum one time. Speaking of that,
Yeah, I
all
feel
the
like
camera op was hearing people scratching at the boom.
oh, sounds like that happens a lot then.
Mm.
Lania has a question. Lania Stewart, you got a question, hon?
I think she brought it in the chat.
Oh, she wrote it in the chat. Okay. How to capture the best sound in a smaller enclosed space with Zoom recorder, but wonder if I should add anything to the walls to avoid echo or buzzing. Wrong device, maybe? Question mark.
Is it my turn? Do I raise my hand?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Again, I never know what to correct people on. Echo takes, and I've forgotten the math because this is all stuff you learn and then you forget. Echo takes like 56 feet or 58 feet or whatever the hell the math works out to be. So what she's actually talking about is reverb. Echo is hearing the whole word come back at you later, like hello, hello, hello. And then reverb is hearing the end of the last word while the beginning of the first word is of the next word is being said. And that's what people, when somebody, if you're sitting somewhere in a theater or in a living room or whatever, and somebody says, what did she say? It's probably because of reverb. But what you can do is there's a bunch of things. Like when I shoot shower scenes or bathtub scenes, if they're not in the bathtub, I fill that thing up full of sound blankets. What is a sound blanket? It's a moving blanket. They make very expensive sound blankets, but they don't, for being way more expensive than they are, they don't really provide that much more. You can get sound blankets used on Craigslist for $3, $4, $5. But I literally fill up, I'll put 3 feet of sound blankets, and you don't want them in there neat. You want them in there all wadded up, and that keeps the sound from bouncing around. So anything that's not going to be in your shot, if you're shooting in a bathroom, it needs to have a piece of cloth on it. But here's the thing. Bathroom shots, sound has to be right. You shouldn't have reverb in the Superdome or any place huge or outside in the middle of the desert. And you also should have some reverb if you're shooting in a bathroom. So it's got to sound right. People always want to say, is it going to sound whatever, but it has to sound right.
So what if it's a small space, like just a room or a living room, or like trying to shoot in a smaller space like that?
Well, small space like living room, is that small space to you guys? Living rooms that we're talking about?
No, I mean, like if you're in an enclosed space, like with 4 walls.
Maybe like, let's say, a New York apartment. There we go. Something small like that.
It depends on how much hard stuff you have. Like, for instance, I had a friend of mine. I'd never been to his house. And he says, Martin, I've got problems with my surround sound. It sounds terrible. And I said, let me guess, you have a leather couch. You have hardwood floors. And he goes, yeah, gosh, you haven't been to my house. And I'm telling him all this stuff he has in his house. And all I'm talking about is all these hard surfaces that he's got sound bouncing around off. I said, you got to put a rug down. I'd probably get rid of the leather couch because that's hard and it bounces. So carpet.
If you can't get rid of the couch, what would you recommend? Putting like a cloth on it?
Yeah, you just want sound blankets hanging everywhere. And also, if you can stop getting caught in corners is bad. Getting blocked up in corners. If you can stop corners, and sound is like a ball. I always tell people, if you want to stop sound from bouncing around, which is reverb, it's just like a rubber ball. When you throw a rubber ball in a room, it bounces off that wall, then this one, this one, this one. And literally, if you can keep a rubber ball from bouncing off of something, you're going to kill sound. So if you had a sound blanket hanging on a wall and you threw a rubber ball at it, the ball would just fall. It would hit the blanket and fall straight down. So that's the trick with sound, is just think of it as a rubber ball.
Okay.
Lorena, you've worked on smaller, like independent school films and stuff. What did you guys do to like keep the sound from reverbing or echoing and stuff?
Yeah, a lot of sound blankets. Unfortunately though, like I don't have too much experience with sound, because sound on like our student films have always been from like our sound tech people would always be from like the sound campus. Like that was like a whole separate course. So unfortunately, like I don't really know too much about sound, which is kind of sad. But I do audio and visual sometimes at my church, and like I don't really know how that works, to be honest. I just go,
okay. Thought maybe you'd have something to say, but it's okay, hon. Thanks. Will, you have anything? You've worked on a lot of sets.
Yeah, I have usually been the boom operator, so I usually know what to listen for to make sure the sound actually sounds good on film. But I'm not super technical with everything involved with it, but I do know what to listen out for and kind of how to operate a Zoom recorder and hold a boom pole. So yeah, that's basically my experience with sound.
Okay.
You don't scratch at the boom pole?
No, I don't scratch at the boom pole at all. That's the pet peeve. I make sure.
Anyone else have any sound tips, or can we go to the next question? Everyone good? Okay. Anyone else have any questions? No? Okay, then I guess I'll do one on my own. I feel like this one's pretty good for whoever's, wanting to look for jobs. Where do you find people to cast? Like people who work in sets or work in production and stuff like that?
No, cast is just the actors. Crew is the other one.
Right, that's your question. Sorry, we're mixing it up. But yeah, we can do both, right? Where do you find your cast and where do you find your crew?
It's like Martin and Daniel have their hands up.
All right, go ahead. Daniel, you want to go first since you've been quiet so long? You deserve
Sure.
prize. No, I'm kidding.
What are you trying to say here, Missy?
Nah, we're just close enough to where I can tease you. I'm sorry.
I know. Like I was picking on you this morning.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, basically, so for me, like, I find basically, different sets I've worked on, I'll find different, for crew-wise. Like, I'll find the people that have the passion, have the heart for it.
For talent, I would say I would look at schools. Like, go find acting schools in your neighborhood or in your city. and just go from there. Or there's some people, like there's some film groups. There's like where I'm at, there's like 5 film groups that I can find crew and I can find talent. So like really depends on like at the moment, at the time. Right now is very difficult to find stuff because of the whole situation.
But is it mostly online pretty much? When it was happening?
I know
Like,
I would actually go to schools like and actually find some people, like go act and just watch some of the plays and stuff like that, and just watch some of the people's like. And I would also work with people that I've seen them act in other projects. Like I've worked. It's just mainly it's just about basically networking out there, networking with the people you've worked with in the past. It depends on what kind of role, like what kind of you're going for. If you're going for something that you've never seen before, go to a school. If you're going for something that you've seen people act in that role, then cast those people if you like their talent, their acting.
Okay. Martin? Martin?
Yeah, it takes me a while to get back to my little screen from the other screen.
That's fine.
Oh, the one thing I was going to say, I meet people all the time, of course. There are different levels. I met a lady who had spent $200,000 to make a movie, and it was bad because she had bad sound. But every person that's made a project that has bad sound, every single one of them, can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them has one thing in common. Every one of them. I'm talking dozens and dozens of projects that people have said, yeah, I've got bad sound. Every one of those has that in common. And that thing is that nobody was monitoring sound on set, except whatever they had for a sound mixer. But when I do something, I have so many people listening. So if they were to have bad sound, if they were to have bad sound while they were listening, they would fire me and suspend the production and find somebody the next day. Or I'm not sure what they would do in the middle of the day if it was bad. But that's the thing, is somebody has to be listening. There's no reason. I don't know why. It's probably budget, but I don't know why people don't listen. Why there's not a first AD or a director, a scriptee, somebody, or the person writing the check. Somebody needs to be listening to what the sound mixer is getting, because a lot of these small budgets, you don't have time or the energy to listen to dailies. For one thing, there's no DIT. Everybody know DIT, the digital information person. That's who downloads all the data. Those people go through data throughout the day on bigger projects, listening to make sure there's no problems, looking at the video and all that. Well, when you're on a little project, I'm talking $100,000 or less, or far less. You don't have time. You shoot for 12 hours a day, and then you just want to sleep. So you don't have time to watch several hours of video and listen to audio after shooting for 12 hours and then go do it the next day. So you have to listen on set while it's being done. And that scratching situation that was brought up earlier, that would be brought up. So in the world that I'm in, somebody would go, I hear scratching noise. What is that? And then I have to either determine if it's coming through the mics or if they're hearing the dog next door that's scratching on the owner's door. I can't do anything about that dog, but so anyway, that's the number one mistake people make, is not monitoring audio. And it's usually because they don't have the device that costs money to do that. But somebody has to listen to know that you're actually getting a movie made or whatever you're making.
Willward said, yes, Facebook film groups are great for cast and crew calls. Also, college film students are, what?
A great resource. My tablet is
good resources. Okay.
Okay, I was trying to read that. What would you guys do? Like, you guys would go on Facebook, look at the group, see who's in it, and contact the people who are interested in acting and stuff?
Yeah.
Or also I'm in the Virginia Production Alliance, so that's a good resource too. Like the Virginia Film Office, they post a lot of cast and crew calls as well as paid gigs if you have the experience.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yep.
All right, cool. Anybody else have any tips on like finding people to work with or finding actors? Crew sounds as people to work with as well, like any kind of assistance or anything like that.
or just finding work for yourself in general. Like Mike, how would you find work for your
After that,
like that?
I think Lania had another question. She had her hand up, and Lorena has her hand up too.
Yeah. I mean, in my case, like before when I'd like look for work and stuff or like gigs to do, usually I'd go to like, yeah, Facebook groups, and like I'm part of like a BC like PA Facebook group. So there's a lot of like PA gigs on there.
Yeah, I'm part of that too.
Yeah. Yeah, so I go to Facebook. Also, so far, I've had like 100% success rate looking on Craigslist for some reason.
I know, right? Who would have guessed?
I've scored most of my gigs on Craigslist, and like some like really amazing like long-term ones too, which is like yeah.
Cool.
So,
Martin, you had, oh, sorry, Lorena.
oh no,
Finish.
that's it.
You sure?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Let me know if I'm cutting you guys off. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make sure that everyone gets to talk and that I don't miss anybody, you know? Martin, you had something to add? Jesus.
No, I left my hand up because there's a button as opposed to me having to hold my hand up like I'm booming. So there was nothing to tell me I was tired of holding my hand up because it's just an electric button number. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Lania, you had a question? I know you had your hand up earlier. I was just waiting for this person.
Yeah, I accidentally sent my message.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
a question. Okay,
Yeah,
about
it was
backstage,
just,
actors access,
yeah.
like casting actors.
Yeah, but there's also stuff like auditionsfree.com, and I think like Cinevu is like SINAVU, where you can find crew, or yeah, SINAVU, and you can find like virtual stuff or cast and crew jobs and different things like that. So, yeah, thank you.
All right. Honey, you want one of your questions or one of mine now?
Does anyone else have any questions, or they'd like
Anyone?
No? All right. So have any of you had the opportunity to distribute your film or your work, and how did you do it, and who did you distribute with? Or how did you set the deal up? I can go for anything. I can go for short films or feature films, or like, you know, the wedding videos that you do, Mike, or anything like that.
Like in film competitions, or what kind?
Like, have you ever had the opportunity to showcase your work, maybe like to a local theater, or to just get a distribution deal from somebody, even if it's a small distribution company, or like DVDs, you know, like distributing?
Raise your hands if you have that answer. No? Oh, go ahead. No?
I raised my hand, but
oh, you did? You didn't show up. You can
go
ahead.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Oh, technically, for a film competition, I've showed some of my stuff. Same with TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival. I've showed some of my stuff in there. I've showed myself in some of the Vancouver theaters as well for film competitions. It's not exactly what you're saying, but it is. It's like in the mid-ground. Like, it's kind of like it was in the theaters, but it wasn't like showcased around the world.
Yeah, right.
Well, any kind of showcasing doesn't have to be like around the world. Just like, did you ever get a chance to show your stuff, put it out there, and how was it? You know, anyone else have any stories of like how you got an independent film made or a music video, something you had in your brain?
That's a whole separate question.
Yeah, that is kind of, yeah.
Okay, sorry. Mike, you said you worked on music videos and stuff, right? How did you get those opportunities?
No, I've not done music videos. Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Sorry, I probably meant other types of videos. I'm getting mixed up.
I've done a documentary.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
So I've not released it yet. I mean, I've uploaded to Vimeo, but I haven't released it, and I'm working on one right now. That I'm in the. It's in progress.
But is it in? Do you get a distributor yet?
No, not yet. Most likely, both of them will go on like Amazon, Vimeo, that sort of thing. I'll probably enter it in some film festivals.
Nice.
Okay, cool. Anyone else have anything to comment on that or no?
Yeah. I mean, I had a short film screen at the Cannes Film Festival a couple of years ago. It didn't go anywhere, but I got a couple of executives look at it, and they gave me good feedback and how I could continue to grow. But no deal. But it was screened, and a couple of people overseas in France saw it, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah.
Were you able to go out there, or did they just like tell you about it?
Yeah, I spent 2 weeks out there. This was back when I was in college before Regent. I went to the Cannes Film Festival and interned for 2 weeks with a distribution company. So I learned a little bit about how to actually score a deal and how to market yourself. But in terms of what I've actually done personally, I've only had one film that screened at the festival, which, it didn't get picked up, but, getting that experience and having executives look at it was definitely a cool experience and something that I still take with me today. So,
Right.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
What were the tips you learned? You want to share them?
It was more so about, this was when I was still pretty new to film. So this was a couple of years ago, just how to properly market the film. First of all, I was all over the place with how I was marketing it, this action film that I had shot. It was kind of like a Matrix ripoff. So it's not. So that was one of the criticisms too, is that it was too similar to what the Matrix was doing. So I tried to, get more original with my projects, to actually get actors who know their lines, basic stuff like that. So it's a whole list that I could share with the group, but it's a lot of good information. If anybody's interested, I can email the little sheet that I have, that I still have from France, that I can send to
Yeah,
you.
that'd be awesome. We can share it in the group chat. I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of people would appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a fun one, if that's okay.
Daniel's raising his hand.
Oh, go ahead, Daniel.
I actually totally forgot about this as well. When I did enter one film competition, and I actually came second place out of 20 films.
Nice.
Cool.
What was the competition?
So
Was it a
that
local?
was back in Vancouver. It was just for one project I did. It was for a 48-hour film festival. We got it all shot and edited, and basically we put it out just at the last minute. But I came second place out of 20, which is pretty good numbers, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't know how to unraise my hand now.
Brad, you had a second question? I remember you said you had two questions.
Yeah, I had a couple. I've just been trying to get a lot of knowledge and from all over the place. But one of the main ways to do that for me is podcasts. So I don't feel like you guys have any recommendations for good podcasts.
Oh, James has a bunch.
Okay.
If he's still listening, because sometimes he ghosts.
Just shoot.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. Yeah.
Podcast recommendations, James. You're the king of them.
I know one podcast, mostly YouTube channels.
You might as well just call him Casper at this point.
I know one called Indie Film Hustle.
That's a good one.
I've been listening to Roger Deakins. Roger Deakins, if you guys recognize the name, he's a legendary cinematographer. Him and his wife have because they work together. They always work together. They have a podcast together called Team Deakins, and the earlier episodes, it was really them just talking about the stuff. But in later episodes, they started inviting professionals from the industry. So we're talking big name directors, sound designers, production designers, producers, the co-president of Plan B Entertainment in one episode. Especially, they like to interview other cinematographers a lot too. Just all over the industry, and you really learn a lot about how the industry works from them. Nice. And it's a really good resource.
Can you spell it? Because I think I don't know how to spell his name. I was looking for it the other day and I couldn't find it anywhere. I think I was writing his name wrong.
I got you right now.
Yeah. Thanks. Anyone else have any podcasts or channel recommendations?
I've never listened to a podcast ever in my life, so I've been on one, but I've
Team
never.
Deacons was my first one, and I don't regret it at all. Like it's really worth it. And there's so much content already available that you could really just like go through it before the next episode. You have a lot to go into before the next episode comes out.
I can top your I've never listened to a podcast story. I've worked on a podcast and I've never listened to a podcast.
Oh no.
I did a podcast. Does anybody know who Barstool Sports is?
Yeah.
I was in a van down by the river. I was in a van with and you guys probably know the show. I didn't know it when I did it, and I still don't know it. But I was in a van with the Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback. I guess it was 2 Super Bowls ago. In the back of a van, I was running audio, and it was for a podcast. But they had a camera, and everybody I say that to, they say, "Wait a minute, they had a camera at a podcast?" I was like, "I don't know. I just worked there, you know." But
Did they offer you candy?
That's personal.
Oh my. Lonnie, I had a question, I believe. I saw her hand up. Lonnie? Is she like putting it in the chat or?
I'm not sure. You want to ask me your questions, honey? Oh, okay. She's at anchor.fm.
Oh, that's a podcast? Okay, cool. I'll copy that one as well. I'll send them all that you guys are writing and sending in the WhatsApp, because these disappear later, so I just want to make sure no one misses any resource. Okay, there we go. All right. So my question is just like out of weird curiosity. It's not like anything technical or anything like that. But what's the craziest funny thing that you guys have had happen on the job or in school, learning film, anything like that? Be it any kind of a filming job or directing job, like be it a wedding or a video or a short film, independent film, anything. You can raise your hand because there's probably going to be a lot of them. Daniel?
I might as well just repeat one of my stories because it is pretty funny. Basically, when I worked on the Night Museum, when I was working on it, I had a scene with Robin Williams. And basically, every time I would walk by him, he would sneeze on me because he was allergic to my shampoo. He was allergic to Head and Shoulders. So I just every time, it's like, and then we finally realized, I'm like, wait, why do I feel like he's allergic to Head and Shoulders? I'm like, smell my hair, please. The whole crew looks at me, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, just smell my hair. Sneeze, he just smells my hair, sneezes like 5 times in a row.
Why is this weird peeve asking him to smell his hair? Or whatever you want.
Yeah. And it's like, I ended up getting I think I got a donut from him after his apology for not being in the same scene as him. But he's pretty cool. He was pretty cool to work with. It was an interesting but weird time I got to be on one set of mine.
Cool. Anyone else have a very weird or funny story when working? Will or anyone Mike, you have any weird wedding stories? We know there's a lot of those.
Crazy bride.
Crazy wedding stories.
Not really. I mean, usually we're just kind of doing our thing, and it usually goes actually pretty smoothly. So most of them are actually pretty uneventful.
Very lucky.
You worked boring weddings. No bridezillas? No crazy bridesmaids?
I've shot 150 weddings. I've had one bridezilla, and that's it.
Wow, that is luck. It's like every single day I hear about some crazy story that happened in a wedding. Maybe I just know the wrong people. Will, you got any stories?
Yeah, I got a couple. It goes back to what I was saying with the film crew thing. So I used to use Craigslist, and of course, I met a lot of wonderful people like Lakota, but we also encountered a lot of I'll just say creepy people. Even recently was one guy, I think, on one of our recent film shoots, and I think he used to work with Lakota too, but he literally showed up in a van and kept talking about kids, and it was just so weird and
What?
creepy. Like everyone
What
just
about
kept.
kids?
He was like, "Yeah, you guys need kids? I got kids," and it was just like he drove up in a
What?
van, and it was like a van, like a creepy old man. It was just weird.
See, this
And
is
he
what
just
I'm
kept
saying.
talking
in
about
his
it.
van.
Stuff like this that give us foreigners a weird idea of Craigslist. We always hear about the creepy stories. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Craigslist doesn't
you
get used much in Toronto.
Did
yeah.
you not call the police or anything? Like, hey, just in case. Like, this guy's been talking about kids. You might want to check his house.
Yeah,
His
like
van.
we kicked him off the set because he just was like, yeah, you guys still need those kids. I can get them. I was like, no, you can leave.
You didn't call like, hey, 911, just check out this dude's place. Check out his van.
I mean,
just in case.
well, he was never seen again, so I'm like, I don't know what happened to him after that day. We told him like, okay, we don't need you, and he just drove off in his van, and he was never seen or heard from again. So I was like, okay,
All right.
so, yeah,
Please tell me you at least wrote down his name.
we got his name still, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I would
so in
just
case-
do a little background check. There's that I don't know the name for it, but there's like a website where you can check the predators, sex offenders
Yeah.
list. Yeah, maybe look there.
Yeah,
You never know.
yeah.
For the safety of
That's
others.
why we don't use Craigslist for crew calls anymore. So because of that.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, yeah.
Lorena, you got any funny stories on set?
Oh my
Student film,
goodness.
anything like that?
I have so many from like film school. One super notable one term we were working on episodic series, and I wasn't on this particular one, but I've just heard like I came to class one day and then I heard like the girl who was like producing the episodic, she said that every day the sound person formatted the sound card before offloading it. And so they had to do the entire episodic series with ADR, and it was awful. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh my. Like,
I'm
would you
raising my
reshoot or would you just leave it like that?
I think they found out the last day of shooting. So the last day, and so glad I wasn't on that. But it would have been really amusing, I think.
Mike says he has to head out.
Bye, Mike.
Sorry to
Bye,
hear
Mike.
that. Mike will have the
Bye.
recording for you.
Mr. Cohen's back.
Who's back?
Hello, I'm here. Hello.
Hey, Colin.
Oh, Colin, yeah. Hey, what's up?
Hello. I had a big item to do. There was trivia, and I didn't win because the trivia was very easy. So it was basically a reaction game, and that was annoying. But whatever. I'm here now. So hello.
Are you a sore loser, or was it really just a bad
No,
game?
I was not a sore loser because it wasn't my fault. The trivia was too easy. But I mean, I'm feeling pretty happy today because I had a good debate round earlier, I guess. Sorry, I don't want this to become life updates with me, but I'm
Life
happy.
of Colin.
It's okay, Colin. Your life is pretty interesting. We'll be fine here.
Thank you. Thank you for the compliment.
I
guess I'll take it as a
want him to
compliment.
feel appreciated, the poor kid. No.
I honestly, okay, yeah, I'll be quiet to save
All
room
right,
for
you
other
can
questions.
share later after the group.
Yeah.
We just have a few more questions, and we plan to discuss what we learned this week after, but I guess depends on how long it is. We only have a few more questions, at least on our end. Like I had 5 and Coda had 5, so these are good. If anyone else has any questions before
Martin was raising his hand.
Oh, who is it raising again? Oh, Martin. Right.
I think I raised and lowered it, I think 17 times, but I lost count.
I am so sorry. It's just I'm trying to make sure that everyone gets a
was
chance. I must have missed you. Go ahead.
I was trying to get 20 hand raisings, but
You have a story?
On the erased files issue of sound, I have every second of everything I've ever recorded stored still, all of it. And a lot of the good sound mixers, they keep it. They keep it for 6, 8 months, a year, whatever. I got a call from a director one time, and I saw his name pop up on my caller ID, and I answered the phone. I'm editing this, so you can't figure out what I'm talking about. But it was a pretty big project, had big people in it. And I answered the phone, hello, and he says, hey, this is so-and-so. I said, yes, I know, I see it on my caller ID. Well, he was surprised that I took the phone call, even knowing who he was, because the last check they wrote us, the entire crew, bounced.
What?
Ow.
Big check. Yes, big, and they knew it was going to bounce, and I figured it all out. And but anyway,
Dang.
they fixed it. They fixed most of them. They paid me first because I was the biggest
Okay, so
seller.
it wasn't like on purpose type, like, we're just gonna screw you over.
I can't tell you I can't tell you. You'll start figuring out what it was. But so anyway, he was all relieved that I took his phone call, knowing who he was, because he thought I didn't. He thought I'm just answering a phone call and I can't. So anyway, he says, you don't happen to have audio files from day 6, 9, 12, whatever. I said, yeah, sure, I'll get them right to you. Oh, thank you. He told me he loved me. I don't think he meant it, but he said it. And I'll tell you something funny that I didn't understand when I first started doing this, is that you apparently, as a director, because I've never been a director, you have to explain why to an actor you got an ADR something. I guess they have, when there's noise, I guess it's easy for them to remember, yeah, we had noise that day. But this guy was really worried about what he was going to tell the actors, because he had other days that were missing that I didn't do. I took over for another sound mixer after like 3 days and then finished the whole project. But so anyway, he was really worried, and I never imagined that would be a worry, that you'd have to explain to an actor why you had to ADR something, but it was. And so I sent him the files, but that's that. So anyway, yeah, make sure your sound mixer keeps their files.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. Anyone else have any horror stories on set or on the job or in film school?
On the job as far as acting, right?
Yeah.
Acting. Okay. No horror stories.
No?
I got what could have been a horror story.
Oh, go ahead. I was about to ask.
It was a
you
horror
if you
story
had
to my
anything
guy,
say.
to the other people at the time.
Did you contribute to it?
No, it was on. I was making my first short film, and there was a scene that was we stole the shot in Central Park. My lead, my sound guy, and I, we hopped some fences. We weren't supposed to be there.
Oh my God, you
Did it anyway.
gorilla'd it.
Gorilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's kind of sound?
And then I realized that I had missed a shot when I was editing it.
Oh,
I hauled ass with my camera and a knife and a squirt bottle full of fake blood.
Oh my.
The Central Park. So I do my thing. I make my little mess. I get the shot because it's like an insert. It's nothing, And then I realized I didn't bring no water.
It was dry blood.
I have this very, very real Smith & Wesson knife covered in very, very fake but very, very realistic looking blood.
You didn't use urine to help with the urine would have helped with it.
No, yo, I gotta put that shit back in my backpack. No.
Brent, how was your first thought? Pee on it. What the heck?
Hey, that's water. That's water.
Okay,
the
beer
body.
fucking grills.
Hey, I used to race mountain bikes, and I got a muddy chain real bad one time, and everybody
Did you
pees in
pee
front of
on
everybody
it?
else. What?
Did you pee on it?
I totally peed my chain rings and gears and everything completely.
Yeah,
completely free of
how else
mud.
you gonna get it out?
Yo, nah, this is different. This fake blood is very syrupy, It actually does. It's pretty easy to get off with water. You just, The point is, I needed to clean it so that I could put it back, where it goes.
Yeah.
Plus, I feel like
you
a
guys are the
bike.
kind of team members.
So
I
I'm like,
want
all right, cool. It's a public park. There has to be a water fountain somewhere. So here I am walking around fucking Central Park with a bloody ass knife in the hand.
Oh my.
Looking for a water fountain to clean it off on. And clearly, apparently there aren't any. At least not anywhere near where I got the shot.
Wow.
But what there
How
are
did I
is
get
this
pulled
group of
over?
very
Like,
innocent
not pulled
looking French tourists.
Oh.
And I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe they have water.
You went up with them with your bloody hand.
and a fucking knife in my hand, covered in blood. And I walk up and I was like, "Hey guys," and then they look at me and they start freaking the fuck out. That's just it. They're like, "All right, cool."
Americans.
Everyone told me not to come into Central Park at fucking night, and here I am getting murdered. Yeah, they're
That's the
freaking
story of
out.
how France
I'm
declared
like,
war on the
no,
US.
no, it's for a movie. It's for a movie. And then I realized that these guys don't speak a lot of English, so I'm like trying to bust out like whatever little French I know. I'm like,
You should have said le bleu.
Je suis au cinéaste. Like trying to get them to chill the fuck out because I'm trying to explain to them, bro, it's fake blood, it's not real. But they're convinced they're facing their final moments.
It is the US after all. You guys got a lot of serial killers.
But no, eventually I managed to pull enough of my high school French classes together to get them to understand that it's a movie.
So they all cheat on your head?
That's me, man.
No.
Bye, Will. Thanks for coming.
All right, no problem.
Take
See
care,
you
my
guys.
guy.
We appreciate
Bye-bye.
it.
We appreciate all the input,
All
my
right,
guy.
take care. Thank you.
No problem.
Ah, dang it. There was a question I really wanted to ask him.
Oh shit.
But
Yeah, which was like the hardest part about production. Is it pre-production or post? Like
I believe pre.
pre?
Yeah.
Wait, pre-production or post-production for what?
For anything.
What's the
like any
hardest part?
project.
Pre-production, production, or post to each of you?
Oh man, probably pre-production. So many movies fall apart in pre-production and never end up getting made that it's like kind of hilarious. Once a movie is already ready for post, like you can make something out of it, even if it's crap. But if a movie falls apart in pre, oh, you're done for.
I'm just gonna show this for the recording and then I'll be done sharing my screen. So this weekend and into next week, we should be writing our first drafts for our first short film ideas. We'll be going over and reading. If you don't have the first draft completed by Monday, it's fine. We'll just be reading your log line or your treatment. And then you can continue working on your first draft until you get it.
I am the pickiest
the
movie
log
watcher
line
ever.
I have a whole two.
The log line is like a 2-sentence explanation of what the movie is about.
Oh, I already got that.
Cool. Try to get it done by Monday so we can go over the scripts and give each other constructive feedback. I'm working on, Daniel sent over his NDA. I'm going to adjust that and have it work for this. And then I'm also going to try to see if we can do a release, a script release form for you guys so that whoever wants to add their script to the videos when it's recording will have that release form so that we don't get in trouble with the NDAs and all that. If you haven't started on your scripts, go ahead and just work on your log line and try to get that done, like what your short film is going to be about. And then on Monday, we'll go over those, and whoever wants to share their first drafts, we can go over that as well. And we're also going to be looking into background information, like the stuff that's not actually in your script or on screen, but stuff that the actors can really tell where they're coming from or what their motivation is and why. It's stuff that's not actually in the script, but it's like background information. And then let's see. And we're also going to start working on our second idea next week. Maybe like after Thursday, we'll start working on our second idea.
Our second idea?
Yeah, we're supposed to write 4 scripts this semester.
Because we want to edit. And, I mean, if you guys can't write 4 scripts, it's fine. That's just how I set it up because I want to write.
Oh, is that a challenge? Is that a challenge? Like
yes, we are
daring
daring you to write 4
That's
scripts.
right. Because
We're
we're
daring you.
going to be reviewing some of the scripts on Monday, and then after Monday, everyone we'll have to find a way for everyone to like post it up somewhere so we can all review each other's and give feedback.
The Word app, I think, is a good one. Like you can download it and just share it on WhatsApp. That's what I did with my version of the syllabus.
Okay. And then
I have it on Word and I just shared it.
And then we'll edit and revise our first drafts and try to finalize it into a final script unless we need another draft, like as many drafts as you need to get it finalized. But I'm going to try to finish ours next week and then start working on the second idea after Thursday. And then on the production side, we are looking into the production manager's role and we'll be talking about that on Thursday as well.